In Gaza today, it looked for all the world as though there had never been a ceasefire. Rumbling Israeli tanks and pounding airstrikes were met with, though not matched by, Hamas rockets fired at Israel. And it is the children of Gaza who are once again paying with their lives, families once again paying with unbearable loss, as we are about to see. At least 85 more Palestinians were reported killed, taking the total in the past 3 days of renewed Israeli bombardment to close on 600. Hospitals damaged and deprived of medicines and equipment are struggling to keep alive the hundreds of injured. A local cameraman filming for ITV News has been inside one such hospital. His pictures of blood-stained body bags and badly burned children are distressing, to say the least.
Life-saving work in Gaza is not for the faint-hearted. The strikes are happening at such a rate that everyone has to be on their toes. Sitting with his surviving children, Mahmoud Al-Kafarna is saying goodbye to his dead wife Iman and daughter Joanne, who was just 2 years old. He survived the bombing that killed them because he was out and about at the time trying to find somewhere safe to move his family. Today he laid out the contents of her cherished handbag beside the body of his baby girl. Her sunglasses, a water bottle, a chocolate bar, colouring pencils and tissues.
She was just playing at home. These are her toys. This is her blood here and here. She was only playing, and now she's gone. She is gone. She was my joy, only 2 years. Joanne, the spring blossom.
This afternoon, Hamas hit back for the first time, firing a few rockets that were intercepted just south of Tel Aviv. The war is cranking up. Here, a British doctor, Mohammed Mustafa, working in Gaza, describes the condition of 2 of his young patients.
She needs surgery, otherwise she will lose her arm and it will be amputated. Thela has not talked since the incident, and she's not talked since the incident because she's so struck. The girl in this bed right here is her 14-year-old sister, who has extensive burns all over her body. Again, we do not have the medical equipment and the resources to look after her. Israel has cut off food, water and electricity to 2 million people in Gaza, and is also indiscriminately bombing women and children. Your words have meaning, Keir Starmer. Your voice has meaning, Keir Starmer. And right now we need you to step in and intervene.
In the Commons today, there were signs the government is listening. The Foreign Secretary told the House that Israel may be guilty of war crimes.
But it's difficult to see how denying humanitarian assistance to a civilian population can be compatible with international humanitarian law.
The IDF are targeting Hamas members to pressure the terrorist group into giving up power, as well as the remaining hostages. But many women and children are being injured and killed as well. When it comes to the dead, the Hamas-run health ministry does not differentiate between combatants and innocent civilians. And tonight it's not entirely clear that the Israelis do either.
Well, John joins us from Tel Aviv tonight. Deeply distressing images there, John. It all looks depressingly familiar, but things have shifted on all sides in these past months.
Julie, it's a truly horrendous sequel, but you're right, there are differences. When this war first erupted almost 18 months ago, Israelis came together. This country was united, but this time there are big differences. On the right, you have people who support the resumption of the war, and on the left you have people who think the Prime Minister has forsaken the remaining hostages and restarted the war simply to ensure the survival of his government. Also, Hamas are far weaker and far more isolated than they were before. They're not getting any support from Hezbollah in Lebanon. The friendly Assad regime in Syria is gone, and the Iranians are on the back foot. It seems to me that Hamas are struggling to accept the fact that they're on far shakier ground, and the game has changed, not least because President Trump is now in the White House and giving the Israelis far more leeway than they've ever had before when it comes to attacking Gaza. He's also given Israel permission to effectively rip up the existing ceasefire deal and to start again. And I think the only way that a ceasefire can be restored is if Hamas agree to release a few more hostages. In return, they'll get a few more weeks of peace, but not the permanent ceasefire they are demanding. Israel will only agree to end this war for good if Hamas release all the remaining hostages and give up power and fade away. If that doesn't happen, the war will continue, and so, of course, Julie, will the suffering in Gaza.
John, thank you very much indeed.